weekend of Formula One racing here on the EGL Extreme Gaming League. I'm Tipsy Bob, and joining me on the mic is my trusty sidekick and my good friend, Dad Vance. Covering all the action today, we're going to be covering everywhere from Monaco, Singapore, Abu Dhabi, and Bahrain, all across the world, all across the country. We have a full grid lined up, some of the best talent around the world. We have plucked them from all corners of the earth to give you some of the greatest racing experience viewing footage you'll ever see in your lifetime. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the EGL. There we go, once and all the cars are all lining up on the grid. They're all getting ready. The drivers will be focusing on their first corner. Are they going to take it? What are they going to do? Is it going to go deep? Are they going to go? Who knows? Let's take out and away we go! DRS is still active, and if Timo wants to get this moved on, he's gonna need to use this DRS zone because I have a feeling. Oh no, Timo cancel the pressure in this action zone. I tried to round up another overtake on 23 trademark. This is round 3.
And Timo are oh, it's not bad. Oh no! Oh my god, this so sorry, control myself. So Timo
So what we got a penalty too, so they can stand at the back together again, just like Timo likes it.
how many
hold on,
times
because-
did you see how many times Timo tried to get into the pit?
Hello everyone, welcome to SRL Tier 3 second race in Bahrain. This weekend I'm joined by the lovely voice of Tipsy Bob.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sonex, and it is a pleasure to be joining you on mic. This is a first for me to team up with yourself, the next up-and-coming commentator for the 2S boys, and yes, it is a pleasure, I have to say. And also, one of the things that just struck my mind there, man, was that it's been quite a busy week, or a couple of days streaming for you and me, because if it's not you commentating, it's me, so I think it's just right that we team up for this one.
Yeah, I was excited when I heard I'm getting teamed up with you. Even for the tier run race. It was also sudden. I had to step in a couple of minutes before the race actually started. Ban sent me a message if I could step in, so it was a fun experience. Even commentating with her, it's an experience. A lot of stuff I learned from it, so that was really good.
Yeah, Tara's brilliant doing it. I've only actually, would you believe it that Tara's been in these leagues almost as long as I have, and we've only ever commentated once together. It's just the way the dice rolls. It's either he's racing and I'm commentating, or vice versa. So yeah, Tara's one of the best I think we've got, and that voice he's got is fantastic.
It just fits so well. It just fits perfectly. I think you and Tara would make a perfect combination. Maybe down the line if there's a special event.
Well, maybe I kind of fool around a little bit too much. I think Misty Tara is more professional than I am, but hey, who knows?
I mean, I'm the most
Regardless.
amateur as it gets now.
Don't worry. Hey, we all had to start from somewhere.
Exactly.
Don't worry about it. But yeah, looking down this grid here, Sonics or Science. If people hear me calling him Science, you know me by now. I can't say names. But anyway, looking down the grid, it's actually quite an interesting grid we've got here because we have a mixture of X tier 1 drivers, X tier 2 drivers, and then other new guys that seems to be new to racing. And then we've got other guys who are from the SEC league who are getting into the Formula One and mixing it up with these guys. So we've got a real hogwash across formats and leagues, SLR and 2S and tiers, all thrown together into this tier 3. So it's going to be really interesting to see how it works out.
Yeah.
Just to run off a few names, like Cursed.
Who missed out last race?
Missed out last race. Cursed was used to run in tier 1 all the time, and he was getting properly quick. Then he's of course turned his attention to SEC, and he's really quick there, so he's dropping down. Mr. Chief himself, my good friend Mr. Chief, the Lord and Savior of SLR, another guy who's dropping down a few tiers for a bit to try and compete with these guys. And then who else? We got Wimpy. Wimpy did his
there,
showing.
of course. Born Wolf
Yeah,
also very fast in ACC as well, so he's racing here.
Yeah, Born Wolf, amazing driver in SAC. You should check him out, guys. But yeah, and then Bijalook, another quick guy. I mean, there's so many quick guys here, and then new faces.
Owen is a new face. He did really well last week. Got third.
Yes.
A lot of penalties, but there's gonna be a lot less this week. It's a lot harder to pick them up in Bahrain. Blind is missing, and last week's race winner Ace is also missing from this race.
I tell you, I've already mentioned in chat before this, in the Discord chat, that there's one particular name that I seen that was racing in tier 3, and he is a reserve today. And I was like, oh no. And I mean that in a good way. Currently sitting in P1, Mr. Keyboard Magnuson. He has been a regular showing in SLR and 2S, and usually fights up in tier 1 and can hold his own. He is a seriously fast racer. I haven't seen him so far in this game, but I think he's going to be the one to watch.
And he plays on a keyboard, right? The name is not just
on a keyboard.
The name is not just a joke.
It's not a meme.
Okay, so he really does play on a keyboard. Okay.
So if we get a few onboards with him later on in the race, if everyone keeps a wee eye on his steering wheel, you'll see it's really jerky. That's his Achilles heel. Effectively, it's the end of his stints. He kind of burns out his tires quicker than most. But the guy's phenomenal, and he's been lauded plenty of times across these streams over the years with his ability on keyboard. So yes, definitely one to watch.
Yeah. As you're talking so much about every one of these people. I just joined 2SRL. It was halfway through last season, so I don't know the many names. I barely even touched the surface of everything. Let's not talk about SLR. I have no knowledge about that league.
We're basically, it is basically the old and the new, not necessarily in age, although that was a factor, but even old and new in this format. Like the only way I could put it would be part of the furniture. I've been here so long, I'm growing rust.
Okay, now looking at the grid though, the tire choices. There's people that are just doing some times and softs, and Keyboard Magnuson actually did a 26.8 on a soft tire. So he's really going to have to improve later on a medium, because the softs on this track are going to be hard. And pulling off a 1-stop, or unless he goes for a 2-stop. I was reading some of the chats, and I think Cody he said that soft to hard is doable, but it's going to be really hard. And as you were saying, he's on a keyboard, so a soft to hard for him is going to be really hard if he tries to go for it.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see how he goes. He usually ends up pitting either more than most people, or he tries to go with the most durable tire strat for him. Excuse me, there's something stuck in my tongue. Look, I don't know, man. I think you can't get any better advice than from Cody. It's some idiot, if anyone isn't familiar. The guy is phenomenal in this game, and his strats are amazing. His setups are brilliant. So, if he says that it's hard and it's doable, then it's hard and doable. But yeah.
Also,
Magnus is. Yeah, go ahead.
Cody's also just an amazing guy overall. If you ever need something, he's always there. If you have a question, he's always willing to help. So really, really cool from him. He's a good guy overall. Okay, now you can keep going with what you were going to say before I interrupted you.
I don't remember. What's going on here? I have just noticed. Oh, I had already had to fight back last season against my Irish nemesis, Mr. 2SRL Pixel, for taking the orange McLaren and applying a green helmet. I have trademarked that in this game, and Mr. Keyboard Magnuson
Is doing the same thing.
what? But yeah, out of all the racers, I will be keeping a keen eye on Keyboard to see how he gets on with his strats, because he may be forced to do something a little bit different. And of course, as a member of the LOR League, those guys are phenomenal as well.
Yeah.
Who else have we got to become new boys?
I think Legloff, I know he didn't race last season. I know he's from ACC, and
yes,
last week's race he messed. He got unlucky in qualifying. He got disqualified, I think, because in the new game, apparently, the moment you go backwards on track or you just drive the wrong way, even just to turn the car, you're gonna get disqualified, either in the race or in the qualifying. It's just gonna happen. And that happened to him, and he did an amazing race and finished in P5, starting from 16th or somewhere in the back anyways. So
yeah, Legloff is pretty handy, especially in the SEC leagues. There's some days he just switches it up, and he's really difficult to fight, and then some days it just doesn't work for him. I think it's more the consistency for most of these guys is where they're going to really need to work on, because a lot of them have that raw pace. As the Keyboard goes way off track there, and he doesn't invalidate.
And I think Neon Ray's also spun, yeah.
But yeah, it's one thing having that one lap raw pace. It's another thing having that consistency in a race. That's ultimately what will get you the biggest prizes in these. As Max sets it on P1, not by much over Keyboard.
Really close.
On
Max.
the softs.
Yeah, Max was there last week in the mix as well until he had his accident in the fast chicane in Australia, where I had my accident as well. Super easy to lose it there. And again.
So I haven't done much running, as I keep saying, like a broken record in this game, and I only did a couple of runs there on Bahrain with a joypad, which is actually something I used to use many moons ago. And I was setting 127s, but that was just roughly on a pad, and I'm not used to it. So I don't really have any benchmark in terms of what kind of times we're looking at here.
So from what I've done a couple of practice lobbies before with Milos before the actual race.
Yeah.
I think what I saw there was a 26.9 on mediums by Triton, which was the fastest lap. He could have gone faster, I think. And that's also barely any practice. Myself, I'm barely doing 26s in time trial, so there's still a lot of room to improve. But I think on mediums we're gonna see some mid 26s, maybe low 27s, and on softs I think we could see maybe people drop into the 25s. I think Owen is quite fast as well. Out of tier 3 guys, he's still a reserve, so if he keeps this up, he might even get a full-on tier 3 seat in the future.
Yeah, well, it's also worth mentioning too. Anyone who is watching is new to the format. Tier 3 is all assists. Everything is allowed except pit assist. In fact, across all the tiers 2, 3, and I think we even have a tier 4. I really should know that, but I think we have a tier 4. It's pretty much all the same. It's all assists, and that's pretty much it. Reduced damage. Oh, Owen really gets it sideways on his. Was he on an out lap? I think he was. Yeah, he was on his hot lap there on the mediums, and he just lost it there on that pretty tricky little chicane. But yeah, these top 2, 3, and 4 tiers are all assists. Everything's allowed. Whereas of course tier 1 is where the big boys go, where there's no assists, no nothing. So
yeah. But just to inform you, 2SRL has 3 tiers and SLR is the one with 4 tiers.
Yes.
Yes. So that's where you got the 4 tiers from. It's easy to get them mixed up at the end of the day.
I do so much work between both. It's just a muddle for me now.
Okay, Wimpy also is going to be one to watch as well. He got second last week. This week's also he's aiming for somewhere high. He got really unlucky under the end of VSC last week. Got a drive through, which coincidentally ruined his race in a way. Still finished fifth. So.
Do you know what, man? I'm going to try and make a point of not commentating on Wimps, because for two races in a row, I have given him the curse. So let's just see what happens. I'm not going to say a single thing. We have the yellows in Sector 3. I don't see whom it is.
Anyone? There's no McLaren. This seems to be going a bit wide. Born Wolves just starting his lap now on saw, so we might want to go on board with him just to see how the track goes. Coming towards the end of qualifying now, the last 4 minutes. So going into turn 1, breaking it a bit before the 100 meter board, hitting the apex a bit. Really easy to lose it here, easy to invalidate on this left-hander. Good exit onto the straight, opening the RS. Coming down to turn 4 or 5 is this uphill, braking a bit before the 100 meter board, hitting the apex in 3rd gear. Again, easy on exit, it's really easy to lose it. Now coming into this fast section, again, easy to invalidate, easy to lose the car, especially if you hit the curb as he goes a bit wide and invalidates his lap. So maybe I shouldn't be on board with someone.
Well, I think if you're going to run on board with anyone, man, you should be running on board with Mr. Magnussen. He's on a hot lap and he's just approaching the end of Sector 1 and he's just down a fraction. He's just down a fraction on his time, but you know, he still can recover. Still plenty of time excuse me. He has still plenty of track left to improve.
This corner now is so hard to hit on point, especially on keyboard. I can't imagine how hard it actually is. Off camber, downhill.
I think for me that corner is the most difficult corner across the for all Formula 1 games.
I agree with you 100%.
And especially if you're just learning to drop your IBS, it's a nightmare. Mr. Keyboard Magnussen has indeed recovered and he is up on his time, and it looks like he's actually he said a fastest sector too. So pole at the moment is up for grabs here. Max is vulnerable here. Keyboard Magnussen crosses that last corner, flicks on the DRS, and he sticks it P1 with a 26.6. Yeah, 110.
It was a really good lap from him.
And again, on a keyboard.
On a keyboard, yeah. All these other guys racing on pads and wheels. I think at this point most of them are on wheels, as Max is getting impaired by a Red Bull of... Who was it? It wasn't Wimpy, so it's Litozzi who was just a bit in front of him. I don't know if it was lag or whatever, but it seemed like he was kind of getting blocked almost by the Red Bull. And he sets a fastest Sector 1.
Yeah.
And that by almost...
He's coming up against traffic. Oh no. So he's in front of Chief. Chief will get out of the way as he does. Keyboard 2 will be get out of the way as well. Very experienced racers. They know to jump out of that.
Again, coming to that corner. Last year it was completely atrocious to get out right. So easy to lock up last year as well. So I don't think it was possible to do that one.
I think it's much easier this year. The brakes, especially the no ABS. Oh, he runs really wide and he invalidates it.
Really unlucky from him.
He was surefire for pole there. And
he was flying. So as it is now, keyboard is on provisional pole.
Who else can take it off him? Can Owen do anything? Owen on the mediums. Kebab is on a lap. He's quite a bit down from P2, but let's see. He's on Sector 2. He's really running the risk here of invalidating that. He's going very close to the limits here.
Let's see, he's about to finish Sector 1. And
he's down.
He's down on his time.
Not by much.
Not by much, but he does have to improve by 6 tenths almost to get on that pole. 5 tenths separates him from P2 and 6 from pole. So let's see how he does now in the last 2 sectors of the lap. I'm going to come into this corner. Seems to keep it clean, seems to keep it good. Nice traction out of the exit, doesn't squirm around. I actually wonder how many of these people use assists. I know in Tier 2 a lot of the people just turned off assists already. Justin turned them off. I did as well. Eddie. So people are starting to turn off assists even in Tier 2 now. So, and they still go rapid. Yeah, I found out that without a line, it's a lot easier to keep consistent.
Pole is up for grabs here. Sony is currently on P1, but I think he's going to get bested by Mr. Owen. He somehow has got another lap in, and he's crossing the final corner, and he was up by almost 4 tenths. So this is going to be a blistering lap. It's going to be pole on the medium. No, it's not. What happened? He lost so much time there. He said if the fastest middle sector by miles.
I think when it sets the fastest sector, what I've noticed in this game, it tends to glitch out a bit. But he still did improve by 3 whole tenths on those mediums. in
Well,
front
he
of
put
some
him
soft
in.
runners as well. He's in front of both Alfa Romeos on those softs, in front of the AlphaTauri of Luviak as well on softs. On those mediums,
Max,
P4. So
Max takes pole. He takes pole so far with a 26 dead. But Owen is well
Fusions
positioned
P2,
here.
26.1 for Fusions. So Fusions goes P2. Sonny is not on a lap anymore. Let's see, Kebab is also finished with his lap. Actually, no, Kebab seems to be pushing still. He's still in hot lap ERS, so he might be going for a lap here as well. Coming now into the final sector, about to finish up sector 2, so let's see if he's up on his time. And he is. He's almost 2/10 up on his time, so
We should put him in P5. He'll jump Owen. I don't think, no, he hasn't got enough so far to jump Magnussen. He has Sonny in the way.
Sonny moves out.
Giving him a handy little slipstream there.
Is he doing validate?
So open.
Kebab's gonna cross the finish line with a...
Oh! What's going on with these times? He was up on Owen there.
Didn't improve?
Well, there we have it. That is our grid.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nobody else on a lap here. Is Owen? No, Owen is coming round to come to the pit. So that is our top three, our provisional pole in the front row.
Yeah, it's Max Fusions and Sonny.
Second. Yeah, Fusions and Sony's only done a fantastic job there.
Yeah.
But for me, Owen and Leglaff, and even Wimps, even in P10 there, but definitely Owen and Leglaff have put themselves in a fantastic position for this race.
They did.
On those mediums, man. But
Ilush in 14th, so not the best from him, but he will be able to start on the hard tires if he wishes to.
Yes.
Since, as we said before, the tire dog on this track is just it's insane. The temperatures are out of the roof. As I got two AIs popping out on my screen for a second, got a bit confused there. But we'll see actually how they choose their tires for the race. I'm looking forward to seeing this, and it's gonna be interesting, especially on the start. A hairpin into turn 1. I have a feeling there might be an accident and there might be a safety car in this game. I think in every race so far, even though every race was Australia, there was a safety car or a virtual safety car, and we'll see now how, since this is the first race of the week on Bahrain, we'll see kind of what tempo it puts, what momentum it puts for the next races in terms of safety cars and virtual safety cars.
Yeah, that was kind of something I was touching on as well on the Australia races. Was what did we learn from those? Well, what we learned was the track limits in Australia are brutal, and safety cars are almost guaranteed because there was a safety car in every single race. What we don't know is how does that follow on throughout the rest of the season and the rest of these races? And so today is going to be the first time I'm going to get to see is the track limits, although I think you pointed out as well, it's not quite as brutal here.
Yeah.
But it's the safety car. It's quite a wide track. It's quite a lot of runoff areas. You know, how much? What's the percentage of getting a safety car here in Bahrain? I don't know. I guess we're gonna find out.
Also, Bahrain is a proper track, not a street circuit like Australia is. So maybe that even plays into it a bit. Maybe it's coded that, street circuits have a higher chance for a safety car if there's an accident. Who knows? Who knows how the game actually works? 20 seconds till the session actually starts now. People are preparing the strategies.
So people will be aware in the who are watching that, or maybe they're not aware. Who knows? That generally, if there's a host. If the host is racing, they get this kind of this jump start over everyone. And so how we are trying to manage that in 2S and in SLR is we're basically getting one of us streams and one of us hosts. That kind of neutralizes that effect. So that's one thing we've solved effectively, is that no one's going to get that jump start at the race start because of that bug, but also there seems to be the same effect whenever it's the safety car. Now, I've heard a few people mentioning it to me. I've been a host pretty much every race so far. Has Born Wolf disqualified? Just the slightest little tap on these cars. Yeah, a little bit of tap onto the formation car lap, and both cars get disqualified. But yeah, apparently it happens as well if there's a safety car and if the host of the lobby is also racing, they will get the green light to race, to start the race on their safety car before anyone else. Now, I have got the light bug consistently anytime I host and race, but that safety car one I haven't seen yet. So we fixed one anyway, so let's see how we get on. Neon Rays is kind of lagging for me.
Let me check. Yeah, last year it was there was the bug on their virtual safety car where it said return to racing, your delta didn't need to be positive, right? They fixed this for this game, if I remember correctly. I know I've read something about it. Numerous doesn't seem to be laggy for me though. He seems quite fine. Maybe he had a stutter. He had just had a frame drop. Who knows?
So while they are meandering their way and they're coming up to the grid, Sonics, I will treat you no differently to anyone else I commentate with, and I shall ask you the same question. Who do you think's gonna win?
Okay, I don't want to be biased.
Don't be.
I talked a lot with Owen, and he is starting on the medium tire, so he's probably gonna go for the medium hard. But Max and Keeper Magnussen is also good at the game. Sonny as well. They all did amazing qualifying, but I think Owen starting on those mediums has a big advantage over these guys. So I think I'll put my money on Owen.
Well, if I was the betting man, which I'm not, but if I was a betting man, I would agree and put my money on Owen.
So Owen, don't disappoint us. As the lights are going on, 5 red lights for the race 2 in Bahrain are out, and the race is gonna start now. So off the line, Max kind of stalls. Fusions gets a really good start from the looks of it. As a Red Bull spins in the back, hits the wall. So that was Litozzi, and into turn 1, Fusions is in the lead. The Renault of Max and Keeper Magnussen tap a tiny bit. Owen on the inside of Magnussen.
We've got carnage going on in the back here. The two Haas's seem to take each other out, and then they're jumping across the grass. One of the Haas got a mega launch off the line, and then they're just kind of bulldozing each other here. All these guys at the back are just badgering each other, trying to get into position. And Wimpy lost out massively. He's dropped down 2 places.
There was an incident at the start. A Red Bull spun and hit the wall. So I'm not sure if that was Litozzi or Wimpy. One of them. It was one of them. I think they had an incident with Neon Rays. I don't want to call names. I'm not sure it was Neon Rays then again, so don't quote me on it. But looking at their front, Fusions got a really good start past Max into turn 1. Owen also went up 2 places. So the higher the Owen goes now, the less in dirty air he is, the better it is for him.
Yeah, fantastic position for Owen in that racing point, getting them jumping that one space, jumping Sun. Oh, as Owen runs off wide. Just as soon as we said that, he runs off wide, but he doesn't lose the place.
Yeah.
He actually didn't lose too much time, so he's all right there.
Like, it doesn't look like anyone retired. It doesn't look like there's going to be a safety car on lap 1. I think
Chief's getting swamped at the back here. 3 cars, they're all passing him. I'm wondering, does he have any damage? Let's see if he yoinks into the pits. No, he doesn't. So
he does. It doesn't even look like he has damage.
Yeah, he seems to be really struggling with just straight line speed. As we can have Litozzi squeezing up on the back from him and going for a move. Is he? He does. Litozzi sends it. Chief, a wise old racer. He knows how to get points. So he's probably just going to let them all go, fight the way, and he's going to play the long game.
But looking at Chief here, he's on the softs in the mix of the medium tires. Since everyone that started in the backs almost started in the mediums. Also, let's look at Milos. He moved 5 places up. He started in 14th or 15th, and he's now in P9, so he's in the points as it is now. He also started on the medium tires. He also qualified on the medium tires.
Yeah, but the biggest winner of them all, Sonics, is Mr. Born Wolf in P7. He's up 10 places.
Yeah, a really good start from him. Now behind Mario, so the rest is going to open next lap. So we're going to see a train start forming here. Keyboard Magnussen, though, already 2 seconds off of Max and Fusions, who seem to be pulling away from them. Kind of making a gap of their own. And then behind Magnussen, there's Owen, and then Sonny, and then Mario. Those guys are quite close together as Mario actually goes a bit wide there, probably picks up another track limit warning.
Yeah, Kebab at the P8 is going for a move on Born Wolf before the final corner. Oh, and DJ Mario locks up massively and runs wide. And Kebab gets the move.
Oh, and Mario spins!
Really lost it. Oh, massive crash for him. Is that going to be a safety car?
No, he's
No.
still in the race, but he's backing off on track. Oh,
Yeah,
he's...
track entry was not great either.
And-
It may be ghosting on, but still. And he
Those-
gets himself a 5-second penalty to boot.
And Wimpy's also pitting right in front of him. So maybe Wimpy picked up some damage there as well. Wimpy's going on the hards from the looks of it, as Mario's gonna go on the hards as well. And changes his front wing, so he's gonna lose a lot of time right here. As Owen is actually really close to Kieber Magnussen as well. And he's gonna have DRS onto him since it's lap 3, DRS is enabled. Kieber Magnussen kind of squirming there in the exit, losing his rear in the fast corners. Driving on the keyboard, then again, must not be easy at all. So, you know, really good by him, keeping it in P3.
Oh, Bijou gets it really sideways coming up the exit up the hill, and it's dropped him now back to Latozzi. These guys, some of these guys really struggling on the traction zones or the braking zones effectively.
Owen going for a move after the second DRS zone. Ooh, they collide a tiny bit. Owen still side by side into the fast right left uphill. Really easy to spin, just a touch of the curb on the inside. You can just lose the car. And Owen just seems on the back of Kieber Magnussen here, pushing him through. He's probably losing quite a bit of time since he's on those mediums. Those softs die out so fast on this track. He's trying to go for a move into the last corner.
Yeah, we got a virtual safety car. It was Latozzi.
And Kieber Magnussen's diving into the pits.
Yeah.
Since they were so far behind, Max and Fusions missed out on the pit. Sorry for interrupting you. Yeah, Latozzi.
Right. Yeah, Latozzi spun massively there on that fast right-hander.
As Mario
DJ
left the
Mario leaves.
Okay, he retired. Yeah.
So we have our first DNF.
Neon Race picks up.
Gets himself a drive-through. Yeah. He mustn't have been paying attention to his delta. That happens if anyone's unfamiliar. If you're, yeah, it's very easy to happen. It's actually happened to me a few times. Very easy just to not, just switch off, focus on other things, your strat, and then not really pay attention to what's going on. Also, notice leg laps running very wide here as well. He needs to be careful not to pick up a few penalties. Bijou has a penalty already at 3 seconds from corner cutting.
Yeah, and Mario had a 5 second for the pit entry, but that doesn't matter now that he's retired. Wimpy also at the back in P16 on hards, he pitted. And I think Litozzi, you were talking about that he spun and he didn't go into the pits. Okay, no, my bad then. It just looked like for a second when I was on him before, it looked like he had a tiny bit of damage, but he doesn't, so that's on me then. Born Wolf here, half a second off Kebab. He's gonna have DRS. No, wait, after virtual safety car, DRS is not open for the same lap, right? So DRS is gonna open now this lap, the start of this lap. They had DRS for that one lap. Owen almost went for a move onto Max, but he's 3 seconds off of Max now since... Actually, no, he almost went for a move onto Kieber Magnussen that pitted for the medium, so I think he's gonna go for a 2-stop, medium, after this.
Bijou is on the back of Lovik, and he's going for it. He's got the DRS there, his overtake deployed, and he's going to get the move done before turn 1. But yeah, he has an awful lot of overspeed. Can he get the car stopped? He can.
Really nicely done.
That is the medium runners now are starting to make their way up through the grid. I'm not really quite sure how much these softs last in Bahrain. I know they don't last very long.
With no VSC, and if you push super hard, I think it's around 8 to 9 laps. And to stretch for a 1-stop, a soft to hard, you need to take them around 12 laps, from what I read in the chat. So people on softs are going to be trying to push them as long as it goes, really.
We have Milos on P7 on Born Wolf. We've got a yellow in sector 3.
That's
and yeah,
that's Bix. He spun in the last straight. The last corner.
DRS is activated for these guys, and now Milos has the run on Born Wolf. This is a battle continuing across formats. He does usually battle Born Wolf in ACC, and here we are. Oh, Born Wolf!
Born Wolf spun!
Loses it on the cracks.
Oh, and he breaks his front wing as well.
Very easy to do. Yes, that is a very simple thing to do in this game. In that corner. I think that maybe just a little bit of lacking in the experience on this track. And no Born Wolf is new to the Formula 1 format. Yeah, so that is something that everyone will learn at some point in these races, that you do not clip that, you do not let your right hand side wheels clip that inside curb, or you are going round. But he recovered it.
Owen's spitting.
Yeah.
Owen's spitting as well on those mediums. Oh no, he had a drive-through apparently. Because he just went through. So he picked up a drive-through on their virtual safety car as well. I think it caught up more people than just the one guy that got a drive-through.
Well, that really mixes things up now, Sanix, because that's really jeopardized him from getting this win. The only thing that could maybe save him would be if there is going to be a safety car. But I think these guys are too far spread, and just the way the track is, I wouldn't be surprised if there's no safety car.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either. But then look at Milos now. He's in P4 in a really good place on those medium tires, and he's actually really close to Kebab, actually in DRS range. Kebab and Sony on those medium tires close to each other, and then Max 4 seconds away in the lead. So Max is also in a good spot, but he needs to take care of those tires since he needs to go the way with them. At least.
Leg left, DNF'd. So something happened to the leg left.
No, his car's still moving, so he retired on track. I don't think this is gonna be safety car worthy. There's no Wimpy actually really close to Born Wolf.
Yeah, I'm just running on board with Wimps here, although I said I wouldn't. He's got the DR. Oh, keyboard magazine with himself, picks up himself a 3-second time penalty. But yeah, Wimp's DRS open, and he's really trying to squeeze up here in the back of Born Wolf. It's only a matter of time before Born Wolf really starts to hook it up in this game, because he has that raw talent in him. It's just kind of learning the game, but yeah.
While we're here on board with Wimpy, Max actually pitted in the lead for a set of mediums, so he's also going for that 2-stop. You know, he's now in P9. Keyboard Magnussen actually overtook him, and as Wimpy actually taps the back of as Litozzi. They're side by side. Wimpy is in front of Litozzi. Litozzi is really slow through there. Hopefully Wimpy didn't pick up any damage to that contact.
Yeah, so Max is pitted for the mediums, and he's running wide there. He's squeezing up here on the back of Keyboard. He will be desperate to get past Keyboard.
He was he was in front of him before the actual pits, so he lost out on track position. But Keyboard Magnussen on those 2-lap older mediums that are also going to start falling off a lot sooner than Max. But Max just seems like he has a lot more pace than Keyboard Magnussen at this point. Also with a DRS and overtake button, he's going to go side by side into this corner. Will he get the job done? Still side by side, and Keyboard Magnussen still pulls ahead. It's really hard to go side by side through there. Super easy to clip the curb and just spin like it happened to Born Wolf before.
But Keyboard Magnussen is a wildly old horse when it comes to these races. He's a good defender. I like racing him, but he'll not make it easy for Max.
Max, is he gonna go for a move here into the last corner? Yes, he does, and Keyboard Magnussen just yields, but he might get the switchback here. He's gonna have DRS onto him. He's already side by side before.
Yeah, he's going to have the DRS, so Max was a little bit too eager. That's the only thing I said about Max the last time I seen him, that he's too eager to get, these moves done.
Yeah.
He should see that, this is just costing him. Also, you can also see that Magnussen is really locking up a lot his front wheels. So like I said, tire life is a major issue for him. Oh, see, Max almost rear ends him.
Yeah. It's really close to Max.
Max, if you're listening, just try and settle yourself.
Looking at the ERSs though, Keyboard Magnussen really low on ERS. Just 8 laps in the race. And looking at the lead, Milos is actually in the lead of the race on the medium tires. 1 second clear of Sony on those softs. Really well done by him.
This battle we're seeing
between
here
Max
with
and
Max,
Keyboard Magnussen, yeah.
This is potentially costing him this win. He's gonna go for it again, trying to get it round 2.
Gets the job done before the actual
corner.
He
gets the job done this time.
Yeah, it's important to get a front. Oh, but Keyboard Magnussen seems like he's fighting back. Almost side by side into those corners. Oh, and Max spins.
The same issue. His front right just clips that curb, and anyone who's no real much experience in this is a very good lesson for anyone watching. If you are going up that hill, do not under any circumstances touch that inside curb, or that's what happens. And that was a mixture of Max's just determination to get past, but also just Keyboard does not give in, and that's one of the things I really love about watching him and racing him, that he just does not give up.
Yeah. The thing is, it seems like every track has one part of the track where it's super easy to get caught out and just lose it. Australia had the fast chicane, Bahrain has that fast right uphill right-hander. And and we'll
And
see.
then
You know?
Hungary has whenever there's the fast blind left
Yeah,
up in Hungary, it's that next right-hander, that one as well, it'll catch you, clip the curb. You know, like you said, most tracks do have at least one corner.
yeah.
Once, yeah.
That's always the corner that we're gonna see people making mistakes. That do cost them the race. Max already had a mistake in Australia last week, and even last week he had the pace to be there in the top 3, and now he's just, you know. Oh, and he spins. He actually loses it in the S's as well. So those tires are not looking good right now. So he's struggling, and those tires are 1 lap old as well. He just pitted on them. It's really bad from him. But Kieber Magnussen now in P5, so he's chasing Owen now, who had the drive-through. Owen actually picks up another 3-second time penalty right now. So
It's looking like these penalties are going to play a factor, as I suspected.
yeah.
But yeah, Owen is really, or not Owen, sorry, Max is he's kind of costing him himself these performances with this eagerness to get past. In saying that, you know, Magnussen did put up a great fight there.
Yeah, it was a fun watch.
Like you said, you know, we've seen it last time as well, and Max was like one of the clear favorites. With just that determination and eagerness was kind of like an overload, and essentially overdriving the car. It's you know, nice and steady and consistent wins you the race, or definitely gets you points anyway.
Definitely, just keeping it steady is definitely gonna get you points. Even if you pick up a couple of penalties, as long as you know, keep it on track as most as it goes, your tires are gonna stay cool. You know, it's just important to keep care of your tires. As Danny's actually really close to Bijalouk here for P2. Oh, they're all fighting for position, all in those medium tires. He's gonna have DRS here in the second DRS zone. With the overtake button, he might be lining up a move, but no, he closes it. I think he's waiting for the main straight to go in front. The dirty air in this game is also worse than it was last year. So it's the track position is important. So maybe that's why Max was trying to push in front. As Milos leaves the session, so I think he's having internet issues right here. That's really unlucky since in P1.
Yeah, he does have issues on other genres, and yeah, but invites would have been sent out, so I'm sure we'll see him back. Hopefully, he can join back soon.
Danny going into the pits here, so he's not fighting Bijalouk here for position. He's gonna change tires. Maybe he thinks he's gonna lose less time like this, so he's gonna come outside of traffic and just be free to push as hard as he can. This vision now closing up to the AI of Milos, who sadly had an issue. Kebab really close to Neon Race. Kebab on fresh soft tires, so I think we're gonna see a move here actually into turn 1. Kebab side by side, and he gets the job done before T1 even comes. Locks up a tiny bit, hits a lot of curb, and if he doesn't get a good exit, Neon Rays will be able to fight back on those mediums with DRS and overtake. But that traction of the softs, I don't think he's gonna have enough speed out of the corner to get close enough. Ooh, and he almost goes in for a dive bomb, almost hits him. That was really close from Neon. And my intervals are gone right now, so I don't see the deltas between people.
I'm just having a few issues myself here. I'm trying to see if I can get an invite to Milos, but it's not allowing me for some reason.
I think he's back in the session.
Okay.
I am not entirely sure. His car doesn't seem ghosted, so yeah, he's back in. He's back in. It's good, but no, Bijalouk close down to the back of him. Also, a bit out of context, but that black Mercedes looks stunning in the game.
Yeah, I think the black Mercedes definitely the best car on track.
Especially under these lights, the night of Bahrain, the reflector lights or whatever they're called. It just looks amazing.
Spotlights, yeah. So whenever we lost Milos or Cursed, he was just about 3.1 seconds ahead of Bijalouk, and he's dropped down now to 1.3. So he's still got a little bit of a cushion there to Bijalouk to continue on. As Kebab sets himself the fastest lap on those softs.
He is currently 1 second behind Keyboard Magnussen, so he's gonna be in DRS range now. Quite fast. I'm on the wrong person here. Yeah, he is in DRS range, and there doesn't have it right now, but he's gonna have it on the second straight. After the fast left and right section here. Is this just called the S's? Not really an S section though, is it?
Ocean Chief is really pushing here the back of Sunny. Sunny on those 2-lap old hards. And your Chief will be a possibility to test that potential theory that I give up there in terms of slow and steady, it gets you the points. Chief we've seen in qualifying wasn't anywhere in the fastest guys, but he is consistent and he is clean. So currently running in P8. So let's see how he gets on as Sony pulls over. I think Sony's going to give this up. Is he? Yeah, I don't think Sony's going to fight too much this.
Not fighting Ocean Chief gets the job done. They're both from SLR, so I think they might just, you know, they know each other, so maybe they're not trying to fight each other as hard as they would normally with a driver they don't know. As Kebab actually almost side by side into the last corner with Kieber Magnussen. Kieber Magnussen gets the position, keeps it clean. You know, as he said, he's a good defender and he's really showing that. He also picks up DRS onto Kebab because Kebab got in front of him just a tiny bit, just through that DRS detection zone. So Kieber Magnussen had to do it.
Fusion lost it at the last corner and he's in the wall.
Owen says the fastest lap on those hards.
So that is a relief for Sony because Fusion was right on that gearbox of Sony on that Ferrari, and he was looking to set himself up for a move there. So that is a little bit of breathing space for Sony and Chief as well, because he would have been hunting down Chief. As Minos is now running in P6 after pitting for those hards.
Yep, he's on hards now. So.
Yeah, he's going to settle himself down now and see what he can get.
So looking at the front, I think Danny and Milos are currently in the net 1 and 2 places. They're the only ones that don't have to pit and can go to the end on those tires. I think everyone in front does have to pit, since those mediums definitely are not going to make it for another 16 laps. As Kebab actually gets the job done onto Kieber Magnussen going into P2. So he's pushing on those soft tires and he's going to pit for another set of mediums towards the end of the race. So now he's in P2, 30 seconds away off of net lead Bijaluk in P1. So I think he's going to be pitting anytime now. But I still think Milos and Danny are the two people that are in contention for the race win.
Yeah, I think you're right, man. Just as you say, you're looking down the grid here, all these guys, they're not going to get to the end from what I believe on what the laps they've got, as Neon Rez is indeed in the pits.
Yeah, and his laps were actually same lap as Bij's tires. Actually, 1 lap younger, to be exact, because Bij is pushing 1 more lap on these tires, so I think he's going to go into the pits definitely in this or the next lap.
Yeah, so Neon Rez sticks on the hards, so that is his pit strategy complete, dropping him way down the grid. And so yes, that does promote Kirsten and Danny now up to P4 and 5, and I do think you're pretty accurate here, Sanex, that this is a race between Danny and Kirsten so far.
Yeah, Kieber Magnussen actually on the back of Kebab now. As Kebab got the move done, he didn't really pull away that much. He's on those softs, and those softs, they are a lot faster than the mediums and the hards, but they also die out in 4 to 5 laps, and then you really start struggling on them and losing time. And I think it's at that point that the mediums are also almost dying out, but I think they're still dying out a lot slower than the softs. So I think Kieber Magnussen is just in the their tires are in the same range now, because if you look at it, the softs go around 8 to 9 laps and the mediums go around 12 to 14 laps. So they're both in like the 4 lap radius where their tires are gonna die off. So they're really close now on track as well. Those two are also fighting for position even after the pits, because they're both gonna pit around the same time, I think.
Owen is on the back of the gearbox here of the Ferrari of Sony, and he's definitely going to get the DRS job on him, although Sony may be close enough to get the DRS. No, he's not. So he's going to be a sitting duck here. He's got overtake activated. He's not even going to try and defend it. Very little move there. He gets the move done. Straightforward enough pass for that.
As Bij is coming out of the pits.
Yeah, Bijaluk is just going to slot in between Owen. So disaster for Owen. Saving grace for Chief for another few more laps as Chief gets sideways up ahead there. And yeah, Owen was really on the charge there, hunting down that P5.
Bij just looks for it. Just sees if he could go, but decides not to.
Yeah.
Decides to keep it safe as
No,
Luvic
I
takes a
think
5-second penalty.
I think there was more Bijaluk trying to see if he could spook Chief, but unlikely.
Yeah.
As Chief's been around a long time here, he's not going to fall for that.
He knows the ropes. Kieber Magnussen, 1.9 seconds off the lead. He's gonna have to pit again. So yeah, it definitely is. I think Danny and Milos in the lead right now.
Beachlook got the DRS open. He's got overtake and he's going for it on Chief. Chief won't fight too much. Chief playing a long game here on these 8-lap mediums.
Vijay gets the job done quite easy. Owen now on the back as well, so he's going to be trying to pounce onto E6.
The only thing is that Beachlook will not be able to get away enough from Chief, and Chief will indeed have. He's using up almost all his battery, so he's going to be relying heavily on the DRS here. Meanwhile, Owen is right behind Chief, and he does have battery, so you might end up seeing Chief here losing out to Owen. Chief opens the DRS, doesn't have really much battery.
Owen doesn't really use overtake either.
Oh, look at this. Yeah, Owen is just charging that. Oh, he's going to send it on Chief. That's brave.
What a move.
Well, to be fair,
Chief had to move out of the way so they didn't hit.
He needed a very compliant Chief there, because many drivers wouldn't have been that compliant, and that would have been a collision there from Owen. So it's one thing sending these cars, but need to be reasonably responsible too.
There's this yellow flag. It looks like an Alfa Romeo Kebab's
lost it.
Spun,
yeah.
The softs, the softs are burnt through now if he spun and lost it there. As Milos actually on the back of Danny, really close, 4/10 off. He has the DRS. He doesn't use the overtake button. He doesn't want to get the move done in front of here, so he's gonna stay behind. But I think he's setting up a move for the main straight. I think he wants to get in front there. He is on fresh tires as well.
Well, he could be, or he could be playing the long game, because he's got quite a bit of battery. He could be just happily sitting here, because you have to remember Milos has been around as well a lot. He would have learned an awful lot from previous seasons.
Yeah.
He may well just be sitting here in the DRS of Danny, although he's really pushing it here. I was going to say he could be just sitting in the DRS of Danny here and just charging that battery. But we'll see. We'll see what he does.
Yeah, he's just cruising behind from the looks of it. Owen sets another fastest lap with 1:30.6. Owen's pushing really hard as well. Owen's hard tires are kind of the oldest out of the front runners. Milos almost loses it there on the corner exit. Drops down for a couple of tenths. Still in the DRS range, so that's good from him. Didn't lose too much time.
Yeah, Owen is indeed squeezing up on. He's going for it again. Oh no! That's to be expected. I said it the lap before, you need to be reasonably responsible with these moves, and he sent a very late dive on Beach, looking at a very brave corner, and he came out the victim here by colliding at the rear end, right of Beach, and that's always going to end in disaster for him. Again, we've seen it from a few of these guys. They've got the pace. They just need to have a bit more
patience.
Patience and a bit more. I don't want to say craft, because that would be unfair. Just a little bit more.
Maybe respect the other drivers a bit more,
Respect the guy around you. It's not an AI guy, you just can't expect him to move, but also, pick your spots a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, fair play to Ocean Chief. He just has amazing awareness that he moved out of the way, so they didn't collide. I mean, you said he is an experienced driver, and I mean, I truly believe that. It's easy to not see someone. It's easy to not see someone going in for a dive bomb. The rudder just comes so fast, and the next thing you know, your boat's spinning out in a corner. So it's really good.
Well, I'll give you an idea. Me and Chief used to play these Formula 1 games on co-op career back in the day. Whenever you could do that, before we ever played online, we just used to do co-op career all the time. And then fast forward now, it's 8 seasons. It's about 3 years now in 2S for me, and me and Chief have been racing every single week since then. So yeah, Chief is very experienced when it comes to these races, and how to manage a race. And he is the P10 man. We often say he always has a knack for getting that P10, but I think he's actually going to do really well here.
I mean, he's in a good spot right now. He will have to pit again though, but I think
he will have to pit.
I think if he keeps those tires alive for 2 to 3 more laps, he can go on the softs for the last 10.
Thing is, Chief, when it comes to overtaking, he's not the kind of guy that would send it. He likes to try and get them done onto the DRS, generally. But given the opportunity, he will go for it, of course.
Yeah. And on the soft tires, he's obviously going to be a lot faster than the cars around him, so I think getting a move done is going to be quite easy. But I completely understand.
He also has 2 fantastic crew chiefs. Mr. Icewind, our Tier 1 race winner, and Mr. Pretorius, another fantastic driver in Tier 1 SLR. And they're both crew chiefing him, so they will be guiding him. Oh, excuse me, a little hiccup. They will be guiding him throughout this race.
As it stands now, Danny actually pulled away from Milos out of his DRS range. So Milos seems like struggling a little bit. He probably made a couple of mistakes there following Danny. Because then again, that dirty year is not easy to follow, as Keyboard Magnussen actually says the fastest lap on medium tires. 2-lap old mediums, so he's going to the end with those tires. In P10 right now, 2.5 seconds off of Born Wolf. Born Wolf also will be chasing Wimpy. He's in DRS range. So maybe there's going to be a battle here now that we could watch, a 3-way fight. The Fusion's actually pit for softs. Only P14.
I tell you what would mix things up now, these 10 laps to go, would be another, a safety car would really mix things up. I don't know, normally I would like a safety car to get these guys a bit closer, but I think there's quite a lot of interesting strategies getting played out here.
Yeah.
And so it's intriguing to see how it plays out, you know?
I think if there would be a safety car now, my bet would be like people that just speeded on mediums, and I think Bijaluk would stay out, because those tires are soft and they can go to the end. And they're not going to lose too much speed, but like everyone else, I think even Milos, everyone else I think should pit for softs if there is a safety car. Because they're going to be a lot faster. As there's actually a spinning. Kebab spun again.
Oh, Born Wolf lost it as well. Born Wolf has lost it on that same corner where he lost it the last time. It's just clipping that curb. Disaster for these guys.
Maybe it's just good insight for every other race coming up this week. Stay away from that curb. This is what we're taking out of this race.
Absolutely, man. Like, I don't want to belabor the point, but just that inside curb. Yes, you obviously want to get close to it initially as you're going around the early apex and then drifting out wide, but just do not skim it at all.
Yeah, as he actually enters the pits now to change those tires that he spun on.
One guy who's going to be on an absolute charge is back down here in P13 Fusion, as he's really closing in quick on Kebab, and this is going to be a very late send. Hard on the brakes, doesn't lock up, so that was kind of would suggest that he's got the ABS on. Of course, there's no problem, that is allowed.
Yep, still a really nice move though. It was a send. Again, Kebab responded nice. He took a lot of the inside curve fusions, which can unstable your car. From what I've done the couple of laps, every time I hit that curb, he actually says the fastest sector 1, 5/10 faster. So I think this will be the fastest lap of the race right now, once he actually completes the lap. Looking down the field, Wimpy in DRS range of Sonny here. I think he's going to be pushing on the back of him. Might get a move done on the main straight. He's got almost no ERS left. Running on fumes, yeah. He's pushing down, almost at 0. As there's another yellow flag.
Latozzi's off. And is it that same corner? And he retires. He's called it quits.
So 3 retirees right now. As Wimpy pits, and he is gonna go on to softs if I would make a bet. Let's see, yeah. His mechanics preparing those soft tires, so he's gonna go on to softs. Pit stop.
Latozzi's car's parked in a tricky spot. Is there going to be a safety car? Don't think so.
No, what I noticed is if you retire on track, it doesn't put out the safety car. But if you just spin and crash or whatever that happens, then there's going to be a safety car almost 100%. Or a VSC.
Alright.
Now Born Wolf on medium tires, he's also going to be a charge for the last point for P10. But he is quite a way off, and Wimpy, Kebab and Fusions are on... Kebab is on warmed up medium tires, but his tires are... At the end of the race, there's going to be almost no difference between Kebab's tires and Born Wolf's tires. Wimpy and Fusions, though, they're going to be a lot faster on those softs now, but towards the end of the race, the last 2 to 3 laps, those tires are going to be done. Completely done.
Yeah.
Burned through. And I think they're going to be losing time, and if Born Wolf plays it safe and stays away from that curve, he could get the P10 plus finish here. Owen on the back of Bijaluk actually here on the main straight for P3. So he had that incident before where he hit the inside of Bija and actually spun almost. He goes through the outside now. Is he gonna go for the switchback? Bija goes deep, really close, almost pushing him through. Owen picks up a 3-second time penalty, cutting that turn 2. He has DRS though, overtake. Following him for the slipstream. Tries to go on the outside, but he's just not close enough. Or he's just not wanting to go for it.
So it's interesting, Danny and Milos and who else? Chief have no penalties. Meanwhile, a few of the guys around them do between 3 and 5 seconds. So, you know, with only a few laps to go, Chief on those fresh softs, closing down on these guys in front. Chief is looking well here for getting a top 5 finish.
Yeah, really good for Chief as well. Talking about Milos, he also pulled back into the DRS range. So I think he's setting up that move now for this last few laps.
We've got the wonderful Dragon in chat saying Sony P5. Yes, Sony's doing a great job here in P5. The only thing is that he does have 3 seconds time penalty. So as it stands, he would lose out to Keyboard and Neon Res. So you're dropping down to at least P7.
So an amazing job by Keyboard Magnussen, especially in this track. It burns through the tires. On a Keyboard.
Although, hang on, in saying that, Keyboard has a penalty as well.
Oh, Milos actually really close to Danny here. And he lost it a bit again. Maybe I should stop talking about him, putting a bit of a curse on him as well. Outside of the
Owen and Beach, look, we're gotten side by side and a little bit of contact. And they both get away with it. Is no one going to go for it again? Don't do that, man.
This is quite stressful watching Owen trying to go for a move there. It was almost a repeat of a couple of laps earlier. Wimpy sets the fastest lap at 28.3 on soft tires. So Wimpy...
Owen goes for it! Down the inside, a little bit of bargy.
Still side by side.
Again, yeah, it's not that the biggest clever thing because...
Ooh, he almost runs in the back
you're
of him.
Gonna give passing the guy there. Oh, and he's going to spin it.
He's pushing really hard for that P3 finish, but he does have 6 seconds or 9 of penalties.
Yeah, but the thing is, the guys, they need to really think about what they're doing, because if he had a passed Bijaluk there, he would have given Bijaluk the DRS and he would have passed him again. Just wait and sit. Use the DRS, guys. Use it to your advantage.
Yeah.
So here we go.
I think the best place
Owen
to
is... Yeah.
I think the best place to overtake is after the second DRS zone, because there's a lot of those corners before the actual next one DRS.
Yeah.
And there's going to be quite enough of a gap, so they're not going to get past you there. And I think if you just do that properly, you're going to get the job done, pull out of the DRS range.
So Owen's going for it now. He's got the DRS. He's got practically no battery breach. Look, defends it very well. He knows what he's doing, and he defends that inside line. And Division has got it. He's holding on, but Owen has got the inside, and he runs very close. And he gets the move done, and he has the DRS now on Bijaluk. So Bijaluk's going to find it very hard to get him back on that. But Bijaluk will have a second bite of the cherry here, because he will get the DRS on this little sector of Sector 2 coming up, which should help him keep in with Owen, although Owen's really rocketing away here.
Yeah, I think that's the dirty air also coming into play right here. Owen's tires are 5 laps older than Bijaluk's though. But he's got quite some pace on those tires. It's like they're coming to life almost now.
So much more speed than Bijaluk at the moment, but Bijaluk is going to have the DRS here, and he's going to use his overtake and everything to squeeze up on him, because he wants to be as nice and close as he can coming onto this main straight. Meanwhile,
in the front as well.
Yeah, meanwhile, Milos is squeezing up on Danny now. We're coming up to the business end here off Bahrain. And as Mr. Slashy LP says in chat, send it, Milos.
Send it. He's gonna send it now. I can feel the send. He's looking back.
Yes, he's got the DRS. He's got the battery. He's going for it. Here we go. Milos has got the full attack mode on. Danny's not defending the inside line. So Danny's going to almost give this one up effectively, and hope that he gets the move done again on him on the DRS. Second time around. Danny Milos is rocketing away here. Danny will have the DRS to squeeze up on him, but I think over raw pace, I think Milos has it.
And look at that, half a second already.
Yeah.
Owen pulling onto pulling away from Bija already, almost a whole second away. 7/10, actually pulling back Bija now because of DRS. And I think those hard tires, last lap they were quite fast, and this lap they seem to be dying out. Who knows, maybe a mistake. Neon Ray is also on the back of Keyboard Magnussen here. Keyboard Magnussen on mediums, Neon Rays on hards, coming in the fast left and right section here in sector 2. Almost really close to that middle part with the DRS zone, and he's gonna have the DRS on Keyboard Magnussen, so I think we might see a move here for P5 on this lap as well. Actually, talking about this, Sony got overtaken by both of them. Sony dropped down to P7.
Well, he was going to drop down anyway at the final standings, but they actually got it done on track, yeah. Neon Rez is really closing on the back off Keyboard, but Kirst had a little bit of a squiggly biddly there in that middle section and dropped a little bit of time. He was getting out of the DRS zone from Danny, but now he's dropped back in it again. That's going to let Danny squeeze up. And of course, Milos is going to be using a lot of his battery now to try and get away, but he's going to be right on the back of this back marker, and he will get the DRS on the back marker. Normally, well, he's not actually. Normally that gives you the DRS on the back marker.
Yeah, and Danny's still keeping DRS onto him, so I think Danny's the one biding his time now, waiting with the overtake button. Probably waiting for the last 2 laps, because once you get the job done, you're going to fall back a little bit and you're going to have to gain that time back. It's hard to fight back instantly. So I think this is going to be a battle that's going to go down to the line. And while it's happening, Owen is just pulling back time. So BJ almost out of the DRS range of Owen as well. Neon Ray is really close to Keyboard Magnussen here. 2/10 off. As Magnussen locks up a tiny bit.
Chief is closing in on Sony here. He's eating away at that 4.3 second time of a gap.
Ooh, Reyes pushes Keyboard Magnussen, almost touches him actually. A small tap to that corner that we all love and admire. Owen picks up another 3-second tap penalty. As Wimpy gets the job for P10.
Yeah, Chief's going to close in on him. He's closing in on him quick. I don't know if he's going to be able to close in on him enough to get a move done on him, but we know Chief has no penalties, so he will jump a few of these guys.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of penalties in play this game, this race. I hope there's going to be a bit less penalties, but you know, it is to be expected. Everyone's pushing at their limit. It's so important. There's a lot of corners on this track where you just need to put almost your whole car off track just to get that turn-in angle. And there's actually a yellow flag in sector 2, but there's nothing that actually happened there. So I don't know what the yellow flag was for.
It could be maybe a guy letting. Yeah, it was for Pix probably letting Beach look past.
Ah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
But Neon Reyes still trying here to get past Keyboard. He's experiencing what's it like to pass the Keyboard.
What if your drivers were experiencing this race? Is
Neon leaves. So we don't know if that's just pure frustration, which I don't think so.
I doubt it would be. He's still in a really good spot.
I really doubt it, yeah. So he's going to drop now, only a few laps left to go. But Danny is squeezing up here on Milos. He's getting closer. Milos had that over by a second, and now it's almost by half a second. So these guys, they're very nip and tuck here. Sanix, the battery not fit similar.
Wimpy though in the back of Max. He's really close to Max as well in soft tires. So he's fighting for P9 basically on track.
And I don't think Danny and Kirst have any penalties. So this is an on-track battle, we are saying, for P1.
Really good from them to not pick up any single penalties.
Danny's really close now, and he might even have a little bit of a look. Is Kirst going to let him go? I would let him go. If it was me, you know, kind of the things I get up to in some of the races. If you never look back to Azerbaijan with Chief and Luigi, always thinking of something. Last lap, maybe the second last lap, maybe just charge your battery, let the guy pass, and then go for it. The last
goes
lap.
wide there.
Yeah.
It's important that he doesn't pick up a penalty here, since if he does, Danny doesn't really need to push super hard then. He just needs to stay in the 3-second range, and that's just it.
So Danny must know that he doesn't have any penalties ahead, and I'm sure Milos knows that Danny doesn't have any penalties.
Because Danny actually tries to go for a move, just looks on the inside, doesn't actually do it. Maybe he's just trying to scare Milos to go wide. Because one mistake would cost Milos as well, because there's a yellow flag. Fusion's retired from the session. So let's see what happens with Fusions here. Seems like he just went wide on track, spun in the fast section, and hit the wall, and I think he just broke his car. Max, P10, off of Wimpy now. Wimpy got the job done. But I think this is the lap we should be following now for the last, the fight we should be following for the last lap of the race. Danny and Miller been battling out for the last, ever since I can remember them putting out those hard tires actually. They were in P4 and P6 or P4 and P5, and I remember saying back then they're fighting for the lead. As Danny actually has DRS here, so he's going to be going for a move, I think. Miller's holding the inside line. And he keeps it in front, but Danny almost going on the outside of him there. It's really easy.
This is extreme tension for Milos because they both have very little battery, but Danny does have that benefit of DRS, and he's going to get one last run of it here. Coming around to this end of Sector 2, he's going to get another shot at this DRS, so there's only really one more possible defense for Kirst here to get this win. He will be deploying over, he's deploying everything he's got, Milos, to try and hold on this, and I think it's going to be enough to hold us because this DRS lunge, he's not going to get it done. So I think that is done already. I think that Danny's not going to get him now unless there's a disaster from Milos. This is looking like a race win for Kirst.
Yeah, the last few corners now, they kept it clean on that curb that caught out quite a few drivers this race. But the strategy they had for those hard tires, so medium to hard, really paid off.
And Kirst does indeed cross the line. He's going to get DRS down here. It's no use because Kirst crosses the line and wins. Oh no, he doesn't! He doesn't! Danny gets it! Kirst got a penalty!
He actually got quite a few because he was 4.3 seconds behind.
So he doesn't get the win. So Bieslik jumps up to P3, Owen up to P4, Keyboard Magnussen crossing the last corner. He's got Sony right on the back end of him, and Sony also has got Chief. Chief are going almost side by side between Sony. And Chief jumps up to P5. I thought he would get the top 5.
So really well done from Chief there as well.
Neon Rez crosses the line. He stays in P10. Kebab crosses the line. Does he have any penalties?
Kebab, I think he picked up quite a few. Yeah.
Born Wolf, he will have penalties. P12. And then, of course, Lovik is so far back that I doubt he's going to jump up. So there we go. Wimpy. Where's Wimpy? Wimpy getting P10 after that.
P10? P8.
Sorry, P8 after that issue that he had with the front wing change. And then Chief, again, like I said I wouldn't be surprised to see Chief jumping at least Owen on Max. Well, definitely he jumped Max. And he shows that is the kind of way you need to race these cars, these races, guys. It's steady. Yeah. One thing having the pace, but picking it's a long race. You need it's a marathon, not a sprint. Driver of the day is Kirst, but of course he is the on-track winner. But of course the penalties changes it and gives it to Danny.
Who do you think was driver of the day? If we don't look at what game says, who do you think got it?
I don't know. It's definitely one of those top 3.
I completely agree with that.
It's so hard to pick between them.
I think, I would.
What? I was actually I'm not gonna be. People might say there's bias here, right? Because I've known him for so long.
Yeah,
you're probably thinking Chief, but you're probably thinking Chief. But for me, it's a toss-up between Chief and Kirst. And the reason why I'm saying Kirst is because, yes, he did start way back in P14. He had the strategy right, but then he also disconnected from the server and he lost quite a lot of that time, that cushion that he had. And then he had to recover again, and then he just loses it out on penalties. Oh, hang on a minute. Hold on a minute. It's showing on the grid here that Kirst has no penalties. So how did
my lobby is not it's just black screen, so I wouldn't really see what you see.
So did you run down the grid? Did you? I'll run down the grid quickly because I've only got 10 seconds. So Danny P1, Kirst P2, Beasley comes in P3, Owen P4, Chief P5, Keyboard in P6, Sony 7, Wimpy 8, Max 9th, Neon Rez 10th, Kebab comes in on 11th place, Bournemouth 12th, Luvik 13th, Pix 14, Fusion 15, the Tuzzy coming in 16th, Leglaf 17th, and coming around at the back there is DJ Mario in 18th place. But I do not see any penalties for Kirst, nor do I see any penalties for Danny. So the question is, why did Kirst get jumped across the line by Danny?
Maybe it was because he disconnected. Maybe it was just desync and he was actually behind all the time. But then
Yeah, so
no, because Danny
Noel
had
said in the
DRS.
chat, yeah. Noel said in chat here that he disconnected and he had no penalty, so it's a glitch. So does that mean that Kirsten should be still gifted that race win?
I don't know. Wait, let's get him in for an interview. Let's get both him and Danny. I think
Yeah.
let's get first Milos, and then let's get Danny after as well. So wait, let me just tag Danny for later interview. Okay, Milos.
Milos.
So what happened? You had no penalty and you were in the lead.
I have one, yes.
Yeah. That's what I was saying, man.
I got put back because it disconnected in the middle of the session.
Yeah, so because that's what I was checking. I was checking you had no penalties, neither did Danny, and then you clearly crossed the line first. We were watching it right to the death.
Yeah.
And then he jumped you, so definitely we're going to have to be a little switcheroo there by the FIA because that is clearly your win. But how did you feel, man? From P14, you had the strategy nailed.
Oh, yeah, it was fantastic. My quality up. Well, yeah, I was 5 tenths up, but I didn't have any fuel, so I didn't get to improve. So yeah, it came in the race. Strategy was fantastic. My race engineer Triton was also very good. And then yeah, the rest came to fighting with Danny, and yeah, it was really good fighting. It was like really the second stint, me and Danny were within 2 seconds of each other for the whole stint, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, we were looking when you actually put up for those hard tires. We looked a bit at the how the standings were at the time, not the standings, but you know what I mean. And you and Danny were close to each other, both in fresh hards, and everyone in front had to pit. Did you know at that point that you were actually fighting for the race win?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, Triton kind of let me know in the opening few laps, in like lap 5, lap 6, that you're on the net lead, I think, and I kind of thought to myself,
what?
Not a chance, surely. We're not on the net lead, are we? And then we thought, yeah, we're in the net lead. I was like, oh, well, yeah, I got to keep pushing now. So yeah, I kept pushing, got close, and eventually got the move on him in lap 25, lap 26, but it was on my back the whole time. So yeah, I had to push really hard to get the win, and I'm super happy.
Yeah, wait, let's get Danny in here. Maybe you should move him because both of you just had an amazing fight. So maybe see.
The thing I'd like to ask, I'd ask me. Sorry for cutting across your Sonics, but the thing I'd like to ask Milos was that you started away back in P14, and I was watching the back off the race, and there was absolute carnage going on back there. Everyone was just off track, hitting each other. I seen the two passes running into each other, and you were able to avoid it, man. So I mean, what was it like at the back at the start of the race?
It was interesting. Yeah, I seen Ocean give a bit of a tap to Kebab, and then I seen the two Hasses go up, and then before I knew it, I was up to P9, and it was barely the end of the first lap. It was it was carnage all around, really. People spinning, people getting into crashes, and yeah, I kept my nose clean for the whole race, and it paid off.
Yeah, I was saying that if I started the stream before we kicked off in qualifying, Milos, that this tier 3 is a real mixture of everything, because we've got a mixture of top guys from tier 1 previously dropping down. We've got some guys who are new to it as well. We've got some really experienced racers. We've got some guys coming back to racing like Keyboard, and so we had a real mixture of a bit of everything. And for me, watching it, it became very clear to see who are the more accomplished in terms of race pace guys, managing an entire race, over the guys who may be new to it, as well as over the guys who just have this raw pace. Because what I was watching was, there are some guys on the track, you'll see them whenever you if you watch it back, you'll hear me mention it, that they had so much pace, they were really quick, but there was just no patience. There was just, I'm really resistant to say no racecraft, because that's unfair, but there was just this over eagerness to get moves done, and in doing so, it was costing them the race. It was costing them their places. Meanwhile, the more experienced guys like yourself and Chief, I mean, just kind of just sailed across that whole race. Really, you just avoid any incidents, keeping your tire switched on, and played the long game. And I think it really rewarded your kind of guys who know how to go through an entire race.
Yeah.
That was a very Mika Hakkinen reply.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I kind of, yeah, I kept calm when I had to, and yeah, I kept my head down the whole time. You know, yeah. At the start, it was hard, really, to
Yeah.
like you get you're starting P14, and then you're there like, P14. It's hard, but I'm gonna try giving my best, and to come out of the race with max points, it's a delight. I'm super happy. I can tell you that the celebrations were very loud. But yeah, honestly,
I mean, it is to be expected. It's phenomenal. I think it's time for Danny as well to come in here. So if you move him, I think he would probably like to say something about you as well. Because then again, we were watching that battle for the whole race. It was just amazing to watch it. You're so close.
I was sweating. Sure, I was giving everything I could that race. So
there were times you were in the DRS range and you dropped off a tiny bit to like 1.5. Were you getting a bit frustrated being behind, not getting ahead?
Yeah, I was a little frustrated. I was making those like little small mistakes that were just kind of frustrating me. But like you have to keep pushing to that. If I give up at that point, then you might as well not show up. Yeah. You have to give everything you can do until lap 29 when we finished. So yeah, I kept my head down. I did everything I could, and I got rewarded for it. So yeah, I'm super stoked.
Super. Really really well done.
Is there any way you can drag Danny in, Minos? Because for some reason I can't drag them in.
I could. I have to temporarily give myself the moderator role to drag him in.
Yeah, my rights have been removed. I used to be able to do that.
Yeah, commentators can't no longer drag, but I shall drag him in.
Thank you.
There he is.
Oh,
hello, Danny.
Hello.
Good race from you.
Very good race.
Very well managed as well. So main question: how did it feel like keeping Milos behind and then eventually chasing him down? What do you think of the battle?
It was hard, and he gained probably 6/10 every lap, then lost those 6/10, and then gained them again. Then once my hard started to fall away, managed to get in front. Then I was kind of just chased from then on, to try and keep within his DRS. And using ORS and all that, I managed to get down to 3/10 for the finish. It was very close.
It was. Also, then again, to both of you, really well done not picking up any penalties. Some of the drivers were just picking them up left and right. I don't remember what Tipsy said. How many warnings were both of you on?
I was on 0.
I was on 2.
You were really close to actually picking up a penalty. But were you surprised at the end when Milos all of a sudden just?
I was thinking, did he gain a penalty because he kind of ran wide at the end, and then I was thinking because every time I asked Jeff what the gap was, it kept on saying 5 seconds, and I was like, this isn't right. It's a glitch because he's within a second behind me.
I was actually I was on board with Milos quite a few times, and I saw him go wide, and I was like, in my head I was thinking, okay, that might have been a penalty, but then a really good job not picking up a single warning as well. So yeah. Tipsy, you got anything to ask Danny as well?
Well, no, because I'm trying to get I'm trying to in the behind the scenes here, trying to get other people in. So
maybe Ocean Shift would also be someone we could talk to.
That's exactly who I'm trying to line up. Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, Danny, just congrats to you as well. Last week, where did you finish last week? My memory is even though young, my memory is completely fried.
Second P2 in a row.
That's really good for you then.
Yeah.
So
good for the team, even though my teammate kind of crashed out. So
yeah, your teammate crashed out this week, but last week he had a good result, and
yeah,
he's still good at the
grid to 5th or something.
Yeah, he finished 5th last week, so I think you in the Haas are really good contenders. Then Max got unlucky. I think right now, as it is, I think Ferrari, if Miller skips this momentum up and when Pixel races, I think for
Sonny's my teammate now in Ferrari.
oh okay, didn't know. Welcome Sonny to Ferrari, really cool. Um, so Ferrari is gonna be a contender as well for the championship. I mean Haas, Ferrari, and I think both the Renault guys are quite fast, but Max had that accidents both last race and this race, so I think these three teams are the ones to be looking forward to for the fight for the constructors win.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see. Obviously now, after that result, congrats to Danny, of course. He had a really good race too, and he definitely kept me on my toes. But yeah, I'm hoping to have a challenge at least for the drivers' championship and hopefully constructors too. But there's still 20 races to go, and but we'll see what happens in that time span. Anything could happen. So yeah, hopefully we have an interesting season.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice of you to keep that constructors championship going. You got it in ACC last year.
Yeah.
It's about time you get it elsewhere as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so we want to move on to Ocean now.
Yeah, but get the chief man in. Yes.
Yes. So thank you, Danny, for
Thanks,
coming
Dan.
here.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Milos, can you
Yeah.
do the dragging?
Yes. I have to give back myself the moderator role, which I removed like 5 minutes ago. But here he is,
Just
El
keep
Chief
it fun.
Dano.
Mr. Chief.
Hey, champ.
Hello, Chief. I'll let you do this one, Tipsy.
You're not talking to me, because I'm certainly not a champ.
Definitely not talking to you. My loss and tier free champ.
Thank you.
Find out that I am actually a TSRL constructors champion. So
When was that?
when was that?
Long time ago. Long time ago.
It doesn't matter. Look,
in a
doesn't
galaxy far.
Sorry, I'm just swallowing a cup of tea there. Chief, fantastic result.
Thank you.
I was bigging you up in the race. I was saying, Chief is experienced. He will show these guys who've got all the speed but very little patience, very little craft. Chief will show them. Chief is keeping it real for us old guys. He'll keep it clean. He'll pick up no points and he'll jump up to the top 5. I said it and you delivered, man. Fantastic result. However, the start, I've already touched on the start with me.
The start, fuck.
The start
Sorry.
was,
It was so bad. It was like, even by my standards, my start was horrible. Yeah.
but I wasn't specifically just picking out your start. It was kind of like the whole collection of the back field was just chaos. So, you want to talk us through what you witnessed?
Yeah, at the start of the race, we had a bunch of guys in VC, and I'm old as I'm probably the oldest guy. I'm definitely the oldest guy in SLR, but I'm
Yeah.
pretty old amongst all these young league racers. And yeah, so I needed a bit of focus. I need to just have like one crew chief or two, maybe max. But there was a lot of guys in there, and a lot of cross talking and stuff. So at the start of the race, my teammate Kebab was in there, and he says, "We're joking about the start turn 1 carnage." So I said, "Look, don't worry, I'm behind you. I'll be your rear guard." And he says, "Yeah, don't use overtake." And for some reason, I should have used overtake. Obviously, it's the start of the race, but I didn't use overtake. And I only realized this when every other car behind me was just swamping me. Uh, DJ Mario, I have to say, DJ Mario, he's always finding me on track and hitting me. I don't know what it is. He must like me a lot. But like before the first corner, he pulls up alongside, he's passing me, and then he just swipes in front of me, clips my front wing, and I'm just like, what? What are you doing? Like before the first corner, you can't drive that erratically. It's just insane. And I think he got caught up. Like the other guys were saying, what the hell is it? I think Wimpy got caught up by that guy Mario as well. So I think like if he's listening, no offense to you, man, but just maybe look at that race and try and learn from it a bit, because it's the start of the race. We're all trying to make it through, in one piece. So if you act like that at the start of a race, you're likely to uh, affect a lot of guys' races. So just chill, just chill. Copy me. Just don't use overtake and just chill at the back.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
went. I think I went right back to like P16 from what was it like I don't know what I qualified, P7 or P8 or something. But yeah, so like the rest of it, like it was a lot of crosstalk in the first couple of laps, and I just said, Iceland, who's my crew chief, I just said, move me into a separate chat here. I'm not focused at all. I've been working all day. I'm very tired, and I just need to just have that tunnel vision.
Yeah.
Once I had that, I was grand. I was able to just kind of get my pace together, get the rhythm, and I had no idea what was going on around me. I had a two-stop strategy picked out already. I didn't want to go on the hards. So I had a soft, medium, maybe a medium or soft at the end. And yeah, at the end, and we just decided to go for the soft run, and it paid off. As you saw there, I don't know if you picked up in stream, but was managed to stay with Sonny. He was on pretty old hards. I think his strategy was a bit iffy, and he had a 3 second penalty. So I didn't manage to get him at the line, but the 3 second penalty, I was just right behind him. So got him in keyboard and jumped up to P5. So I'm just glad. Like my objective this race, honestly, it was my first league race in this new game, was just to survive. So to get P5 is pretty good. And I know it's tier 3. I used to be a tier 1 racer, but I never got points in tier 1. Moved on to tier 2. Didn't get points in tier 2. So here we are, tier 3. I'm P5. So happy
Maybe I
days.
should switch down with you, Chief, because I think us we're getting swamped here by the young guns.
Well, that's my P5 gone. Then I'll be P6.
Well, see, I did the same. I did something similar as well. My first race was in Australia there with SLR Tier One with all those aliens, and I thought to myself, right, I'm going to struggle getting second last here, so I just kind of just hung around at the back end and just paced myself, and I managed to get myself up to P12, and because I had no penalties, I got up to P6. So, you know, you got P5 in Tier 3, I got P6 in Tier 1, so I think I've bested you there, Chief.
Yeah, slightly. I did see that result, and I had to kind of just look again, go, "What? Tipsy 6? What the hell?"
What do you mean,
'Cause
what? Like you were surprised? Come on, Tier.
you must have put some work in, man. But yeah,
I really
good job, dude. Because like that field in SLR and 2S, I saw you got a good result there as well, and it was like happy days, man. This game obviously suits you a bit better than the last one.
no, no, definitely
No,
not.
no, no. Okay.
Definitely not. I don't even practice, man. It's just race day Saturday. I stick a quick run round time trial, and that's it. But yeah, we'll not delay this stream any longer because you and me could just talk all bloody day.
Absolutely.
But yeah, well done, man, and I look forward to seeing you in on Saturday. Will you join me on Saturday on track?
Unfortunately, no. I will be there the next week, but I've got work. I'm flat out at work at the minute, so unfortunately, no. You don't have anyone to yeah, you don't want to. Like I'll be at the back anyway. You wouldn't see me on track anyway, so it doesn't. It's pretty much the same thing. Just imagine I'm there, at the back somewhere.
I'll just
It's
pretend you're
fair.
there. Yeah. Anything you want to add, Sanix?
Uh, no, not at all. I think you took this one away. The only thing I just want to say, good job on your race, on the finishing position, which is really good overall, and just on your awareness of the other cars around you.
Yeah.
That there was a certain point in the race when someone just came up on your inside, and if you didn't, if just anyone that just could have spaced out, thought that the corner is free, could have just went into the corner and just collided, had an incident. But just really well done. But seeing the car coming.
Yeah, I've plenty of experience, Sonics. I'm 41 years old and I've been doing this for a few years now, so I've I've a lot of laps under my belt. I'm not it doesn't show pace wise, but I do have a good amount of racecraft. But I just want to say to you, man, Sonics, I've been hearing you on the comms, and I think you're fitting in really well. It's a pleasure to hear you on stream, and I look forward to hearing this one back with Bob, because Bob is one of the best we've got on the EGL. So.
Yeah, I definitely agree
Yeah,
with that. Today was
appreciate
a
it.
bit. Today was a bit. My tongue. You can ask Bob. My tongue was a bit
It's
tangled
hard to
up.
get a word in
Ta-
nowadays. Yeah,
just
I
my
know the
tongue was just
feeling, man.
tangled up a bit. I was completely missing words and everything, and I still need to work on my interviews. My interviews, I just don't know what to ask, but it will come with time.
Yeah, it will come, man. It will come. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I would second that as well, Sanix. I've already complimented you before on your early streams, but you're just getting better and better at this. So Yeah, and I started off by saying it's a pleasure to do this with you, and of course I will finish by saying the same thing.
Yeah, it was a massive pleasure doing this week, doing tier one on
Okay.
Sunday with Terra and now with you. I mean, it's just a lot of experience I'm getting just by commenting with you big guns. So yeah.
Hopefully I can keep up with you on track.
Oh no, that you're definitely gonna be in front of me. My track pace is nowhere near as good as any one of yours. Even though
Yeah,
I'm
see
tier
if there's
two.
someone slower than us.
Yes, finally. We'll see though. There's a lot of sandbaggers out there, I've noticed.
Do we have anything else you want to add,
I
Sanix?
think
Anyone else you want to bring?
I think Owen wanted to come in, but he can be a short one if you want. Milos,
Ah, yes, I shall do.
you
duty.
shall do the last thing. He messaged me. He was our prediction. So hello Owen, me and Tipsy Bob at the start of the race. I got asked who is our prediction for the race win.
I apologise for letting you down.
Both of us actually.
Can we talk about that quali pace? Jeez.
Oh, I had a shit
The
quality.
the 127.1 on the mediums, I was happy with that, but
that was really good qualifying. But I think if you didn't get the drive through under VSC, you could have actually still
I don't
delivered.
even want to talk about the VSC. I saw a plus 0.001 in the top right, and it disappeared, and then it said the drive through, and I knew my race was done there. I'm quite proud that I got myself up to P3. Obviously, the penalties came. All of them are questionable. Obviously, it's just part of the race and kind of a bad race from me. But to get P4 from dead last after the virtual safety car, I think I had a decent race. Could have been a lot better though.
Yeah, you also went for quite a few dive bombs as well, trying to fight for position.
Yeah, if I didn't go for them, I wasn't getting anywhere. A few of them were obviously, some of them were questionable, but they
like
still
your
worked out
incident with Bija, I think it was at turn 4, that uphill right hander.
One of them was a bit questionable. The one where I got spun out, I think that one was a little bit questionable. But yeah, I don't know. It's just part of racing.
But the reoccurring theme I've been noticing with you in these last two races are definitely the penalties.
It's my nickname. I'm pretty sure now.
The penalty man. Yeah. So I just wanted to know what exactly happened under safety car VSC. But yeah, just a well done race by you, Tipsy. If you have anything to add to this.
No, I think you just covered it all. I suppose what could I add? Yes, as Sanix has already said, on we kind of tipped you to get the race win, and then there was just a disaster start for a lot of people. And then if you watch it back, you'll kind of see me commenting on a few things that Max does, and I find that the racing style between you and Max is very similar, in the sense that I feel that you're kind of like your own worst enemy on the races that I've seen. Definitely from Max, this is the first one I've seen with yourself, whereby you've got a ton of pace. I mean, definitely one of the fastest guys out on that grid today. It was just some of the moves that you went for were kind of costing you more than they benefited you. Um, and so I was saying on the stream that what I would generally do, and you would see a lot of the other guys doing as well, is if you are struggling to get past one of those guys, it's generally what we would do would be kind of hang back a little bit and then just charge that your battery as full as you can, and then go for it. But other than that, I think that if it wasn't for the few issues you had, you probably would have won that race.
Yeah, just obviously some of the moves are questionable. As something new, obviously this being my second ever league race, never really done this competitively. Obviously, I feel like I've got the pace in the car. I'm just generally have decent pace, and like you said, getting past people sometimes is a struggle for me. So maybe you should take that into account. Saving up the ERS and going for the DRS and full battery overtake. But yeah, obviously the virtual safety car ran in the race. Otherwise, I think I would have won that.
One thing you'll definitely see, man, is the more races you take part in across, if it's in SLR or here, you'll start to, and I think this is a real asset to a lot of the guys who've been doing it a long time, is you start to really learn individual guys on track and their strengths and weaknesses. Whereas some guys will fight more than others. Some guys are really good at defense. For example, I
Keyboard
did make
Magnuson.
reference earlier. I made reference earlier that I was expecting to see keyboard Magnussen do really well, and he did actually do pretty well considering he's on a keyboard. But one of the things he's actually very good at doing is his defense is really good. And I think I might have seen yourself, or was it Max, really struggling to get past him. And so the more races that you guys do on these leagues, you will start to learn who you can send it on and who you can't.
Yeah, it's also not learning just this person specific. It's also learning, because a person has a driving style, and he's not the only one with the driving style. So once you learn the driving style of people, you know how to read it, you know how to react to it.
Yeah.
So just it will come with time. There's gonna give it by the end of the season. I think you're gonna be up there as well, and I think for next season as well, you might.
I'd probably say before that. I would say before the half of the season, I would say, Owen, you'd be probably well clued into who's who and what their strengths and weaknesses is, and I think you'll probably be able to pace yourself better in the coming races. But no, definitely in terms of the raw speed, you've definitely got it on quite a few of these guys in tier 3.
Yeah, it's just a learning curve, and everything will come into place eventually.
Exactly,
man.
Okay, I think this concludes everything.
Lovely. Thanks, guys.
No problem, Nolan. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Okay.
So that is it, Sonics. That is the tier 3 done and dusted.
Yeah.
Excuse the pun. It was an exciting race, as we kind of predicted. A real mixed bag of everything. We've seen, lots of overtakes, some incidents, some guys setting amazing laps, some fantastic overtakes,
good strategy as well.
But, yeah, strategy. That's the biggest thing I take away from this was the strategy call from some of these guys.
Definitely.
Without obviously making it obvious, it seems to be the medium to hard seems to be pretty powerful here.
Yeah.
But yeah, what day is today? Tuesday.
It's Tuesday, so tomorrow is SLR tier 4 if I'm not mistaken, and then it goes down the week. So Thursday tier 3. Friday tier 2. I think it goes like that, right? And Saturday it's tier 1.
I think also on Thursday will be the tier or the GT4s as well in Assetto Corsa and 2S.
Yeah, that's also a thing that's happening. I don't know if that has a commentator yet. I'm not entirely sure. I don't think it does.
I think you're right. No, that's not. I think because this is more of a testing thing we're doing with the 2S League with the GT4 to see how much kind of interest we can generate for it. So yeah, you're probably right there. That doesn't have any streamers for that. But Saturday is the big day, the big one for SLR. That's tier 1 when these some of the strongest guys I've seen across all these games I've done in Formula 1, all the seasons. You will find them in the tier 1s of 2S and SLR. Of course, SLR are EGL champions. 2S, I think, are 2-time EGL champions. The tier 1 is where it is at for these guys, these leagues. And so Saturday is the SLR tier 1. Tune in for that. You're going to have the fantastic voice and the long-standing commentators of tier 1 of Timo and Terror.
Yeah.
And then, of course, on Sunday will be 2S's turn, where you get 2 races in one day.
Tier 2, and then followed up by tier 1.
Yeah, tier 1 commentated by, I'm not sure. We don't think we have a commentator really nailed down for tier 1, but I'm sure we'll get something.
Terror is commentating for sure. But he's only co-commentating. There's not someone that actually streams. Last week it was supposed to be Melissa's turn, but he had incidents, so I had to step in.
Okay.
So we will see how it goes this week.
Yeah, so there's still quite a bit of racing to watch the rest of the week.
Yeah.
And then, of course, that sets us up nicely for the actual Formula 1 also this next weekend. I think it's in Silverstone.
Yeah,
so
it's in Silverstone.
Yeah, man, we've got a week of racing up ahead of us.
Yeah, definitely. So it's going to be a very fun week seeing Bahrain playing all down to the tier 1s on the weekend and the actual F1 race. And I think we can end it here for today.
Yeah. With that, it's been a pleasure joining you on the mic, Sonics, and thanks everyone for watching.
I loved having you as well here. A good learning experience, and I'd like to thank everyone that tuned in and is still watching. So, and I'll personally see you next week on Tuesday. But the stream's gonna be here tomorrow, and like we said, every other day. So feel free to tune in, and thanks for watching, everyone. Bye bye.
Thanks, guys.